I thought it would be a very good time to give you a post for those ladies that are pregnant suffering from SPD, which is basically Symphysis Pubis Dysfunction or pelvic girdle pain. Basically what it is if you look at your pelvis, where's my thing? Bear with me. It's when this cartilage starts separating or this connective tissue starts moving. It's very normal. It happens when you're pregnant because obviously you need to make room for the baby, but it can be excruciatingly painful if it is happening in a misalignment. So a misalignment basically means if you look at your sacrum, which is this bony structure here, the way it's held in place is with connective tissue. It's actually just sitting in between the two hip bones. So if you were to sit in the wrong position, if you are to sleep in the wrong position, these guys could be moving in this direction, which will cause you discomfort and pain. Same with basically down here. It can feel like, I remember when I was pregnant, it felt sometimes that it was kind of ripping. It was excruciating. And at the time I didn't realize what was happening, and what was happening for me was I was working out too much and doing too many squats in the wrong way. For you guys, it could be that in this lockdown situation you're doing the squats in the wrong way. It could also be that you have little ones in tow, which means that you're going to be bending down and getting yourself into positions that your body or your pelvis won't particularly like. So I'd like to explain to you little things that you can do to help improve that. A very basic one, if I just lower this camera a little bit to there. When we have little ones in tow, we tend to do this, or we're picking up toys like that. So when you're doing that, if you think of what's happening to your pelvis, you're basically twisting it. And what we want to do is keep it aligned. So a very simple way is making sure that your knees are in line with your hips. Okay, so if you're going to come down to speak to another child, you come down with both your knees forwards together, not separate. As soon as you separate, you're going to cause an amazing misalignment in the pelvis, which is going to, if it happens a lot, it causes discomfort and then eventually can cause PGP, pelvic girdle pain, or SPD. So number one, keep your knees aligned. Okay, so if you're going to pick up toys, pick up the toys. It means that you're going to have to use your glutes. It means that you're going to have to use your core to engage, to lift up. That's absolutely fine. Just because you're pregnant doesn't mean that you can't use these muscles. Okay, the other thing is when you're coming down, literally come down, and if you need to use your hands, you can use your hands to push yourself up. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is pushing yourself up with your hands. Number three, if you're going to sit on the floor, don't sit with your legs apart. Okay, try and have your legs like this. So you lift your sitting bones up and your knees are in alignment. Okay, and if you want to be doing your squats and your workouts, which I'm sure you guys will be doing, or your yoga poses, which again are very, if you are used to yoga, that would be great. If you've never done yoga before and you're thinking of doing yoga now because you're in lockdown and you're losing your mind, then be mindful as to the positions that you're putting your body in. So if you're going to do a squat, don't do any plie squats, okay? Make sure that your knees and your feet are facing forwards. Plie is this, okay? None of that. Make sure your feet are aligned and you're coming down. If you're coming down, try and make sure that the weight is in the heels of your feet. So you're coming down into a kind of lowish squat. And if you think, okay, that's too much, then just go to here. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so that's number three, making sure that you're squatting correctly. And the most important, that I think is the most important, is how we sleep. So if let me see if I can, hopefully this will work. When you sleep, have lots of pillows, okay? So if I were to sleep like that. Most of us, or a lot of us, tend to sleep with one leg forward and one leg back. So when we're in this position, our pelvis is completely tilting to one side. So what's really important is to stack the hips together. So the hip bones are literally stacked on top of each other. So if I were to draw a line or put a pencil through my pelvis all the way through, it'd be straight down, okay? So an easy way of doing that is grab loads of pillows, place them in front of you, straighten the bottom leg, and basically you're going to do this position. So the pillows are stacked here, okay? And you make sure that your knee is in line with your hip. If your knee's not in line with your hip, it's either too low or too high, okay? Going too high is not too big a problem. Going too low is, because then it will show that shift in the pelvis, okay? So as you get bigger, one of the things that you'd like to do, or which is quite nice, is placing a pillow under your tummy so that your tummy is held. So if you envision, I've got a lovely big tummy here, and I'm going to place the pillow underneath, okay, so that it supports the weight of the baby. And then I place another couple of pillows, possibly, I don't even have enough, there. And you'll see that you'll sleep really comfortably because you're going to be held. Now, obviously, rolling over is a problem, but hopefully you'll want to sleep on one side more than the other. Now, the trick is, whether you're on this side or the other side, make sure that the knee is aligned with your hip so that you don't have that misalignment. Because if you think of having that misalignment, if you think of you're sleeping like this, unfortunately this model's fused together, but if you're sleeping like this and this hip is facing me because your leg is coming forwards, then you're going to have pain here and possibly pain here. So by having that, what happens is that you're spending hours and hours and hours in that position, kind of in that position. And what we want to do is be in that position. So hopefully that will be quite helpful if you are starting to have pelvic girdle pain or discomfort. Just change your sleeping pattern or the way that you sleep, and you will see a massive difference in that discomfort. I will give you another video as to how you can self-help that misalignment if it's already happened. Also be aware that the more the more squats that you do, the likely is that you may, even if you're doing all the right alignments and things like that, you may be causing that pelvic girdle pain because you're tightening the muscles and you're basically asking them to pull. So I'm not saying don't train. Train is really important. You know, exercise, that's really, really vital. But just be mindful, because obviously at the moment we are stuck indoors and we want things to do and we want to focus on something. So if you're training, try not to train every single day, because that might be too much. Or if you're going to do it every day, be mindful as to how many repetitions you're going to do when you are doing your squats. I will send you another video how to release those glutes. Hopefully that will help. All right. Thank you guys. See you soon.